We live in a world that constantly tells us to do more, to move faster, achieve more, and never stop. But as we grow older, especially beyond 60, we begin to realize that real strength doesn't come from constant motion. It comes from the ability to stay still, to hold, to resist the urge to give up when things get uncomfortable. Our lives today are overflowing with quick bursts of pleasure, scrolling through our phones, snacking when we're bored, searching for easy comfort in every moment. Each little burst gives us a shot of dopamine, that feel-good chemical that tells the brain, do that again. But what no one tells us is that the more we chase those small hits of pleasure, the more drained, restless, and unmotivated we become. Pleasure without effort steals our strength. There is another way to wake the body and the mind, a deeper, quieter path that restores balance. It's called discipline. Dopamine discipline. The kind that comes from choosing effort over ease, control over chaos, strength over comfort. And the doorway to that discipline can be found in 5 simple static moves, 5 isometric exercises that train not only your muscles, but also your brain to find pleasure through perseverance. Start with a wall sit. Slide down until your thighs are parallel to the ground and hold. It burns, but that burn is not weakness. It's your body remembering what strength feels like. Every second you stay, your brain learns that discomfort isn't danger, it's growth. Next, move into a plank. Arm shaking, breath tightening, your thoughts might say enough, but you stay. In that stillness, something powerful happens. You begin to earn your dopamine instead of chasing it. This is the reward that comes through effort, and it fills you with a steady energy that no quick fix can match. Then try a glute bridge hold. Lift your hips, tighten your core, and freeze there. Feel your body's power return from within. You're not just strengthening muscles, you're reconnecting with the part of yourself that thrives on consistency, not chaos. Stillness becomes movement. Tension becomes strength. Bring your hands together and push, holding that pressure for several seconds. No weights, just resistance. Your arms engage, your focus sharpens. You're training attention as much as muscle. Each moment you resist letting go, you prove to yourself that power lives in patience. Finally, balance on one leg, breathe. Feel the tiny adjustments in your muscles as they fight to steady you. That's balance in its purest form. Not just physical, but mental. You are reprogramming your brain to find reward in control, not in distraction. These simple static moves do more than strengthen the body, they strengthen the reward system itself. They remind the brain that satisfaction follows struggle, energy follows effort, confidence follows control. After 60, people often say energy fades, but what really fades is our relationship with effort. We start avoiding the little challenges that once made us feel alive. When you return to these small acts of discipline, you remind your body and your mind that strength is still yours to command. Each hold, each second of resistance sends a message deep into your nervous system. I can stay, I can endure, I can rebuild. That message becomes momentum. That momentum becomes confidence. Because real energy after 60 doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing what matters with focus and intention. It comes from mastering the stillness that the modern world has taught us to fear. And when you can do that, when you can hold steady in discomfort, you don't just strengthen your muscles, you awaken your mind, you reignite your confidence, and you rediscover what it means to feel fully alive. Stillness builds strength. At first, that idea sounds almost contradictory. We are taught that movement is life, that slowing down means losing progress, that stillness is somehow a sign of weakness, but in truth, stillness is where real strength begins. After 60, the body changes, the metabolism slows, the joints stiffen, the recovery takes longer, and energy doesn't come as easily as it once did. Many people interpret this as a signal to do less, to rest more, to avoid effort. But the opposite is true. Strength doesn't fade because of age, it fades because of disuse. And the most powerful way to bring it back isn't by doing more chaos or high-speed workouts, but by mastering controlled, intentional stillness. When you hold a static position, like a wall sit, a plank, or a balance pose, you are not motionless inside. Your muscles are firing in perfect coordination, your breath is adjusting, your brain is focusing deeply on maintaining equilibrium. Every second of stillness is a conversation between your body and your mind. It's a test of endurance, but more importantly, it's a test of attention. That's why true fitness after 60 isn't about how far you can run or how many reps you can do. It's about how long you can hold your ground, physically and mentally. Stillness is not the absence of strength, it's the discipline that creates it. And when you master that, you rediscover a kind of power that doesn't fade with age, it deepens with it. Discomfort is growth. It's a truth that many people resist because discomfort feels unpleasant. The natural instinct is to avoid it, to stop when it burns, to rest when it shakes, to choose the easy path instead of the one that challenges. But every time we turn away from discomfort, we also turn away from growth. The body and brain are designed to adapt through stress, to become stronger by being pushed to the edge of what feels possible. Without that challenge, there is no progress, only stagnation. After 60, many people start protecting themselves from discomfort, thinking it's safer. But the irony is that avoiding challenge weakens the very systems that keep us alive, mobile, and full of energy. When you hold a position like a plank or a wall sit, your muscles begin to tremble. That trembling is your body working hard to maintain control. It's your nervous system firing, your brain sending signals to stabilize, your strength being tested. In that moment, you're not breaking down, you're building up. The discomfort is evidence that your body is responding, adjusting, and preparing to grow stronger. What most people call pain in this context is really transformation and progress. Each second you stay in that place of discomfort, you're teaching your body how to endure, how to regulate, how to adapt. Discomfort also strengthens the mind. When you stay with a difficult moment, whether it's physical, emotional, or mental, you're training your brain to tolerate intensity without panic. You're learning the language of control. You stop reacting and start responding. This shift rewires your relationship with effort. Instead of seeking relief the moment tension rises, you learn to breathe through it, to anchor yourself in the challenge. Over time, this builds emotional endurance, confidence, and calm. You realize that the feeling you once feared is not an enemy, it's a teacher. In modern life, comfort is overvalued. We have technology to remove almost every form of effort. Cars to drive us, chairs to hold us, screens to distract us, and food to soothe us. The result is a life that feels easier but emptier. The constant comfort dulls the brain's reward system. We stop feeling joy in small victories because everything comes too easily. That's why discomfort, in controlled doses, is so powerful. It restores balance. It gives meaning to pleasure again. The satisfaction that follows effort feels deeper, cleaner, more real. For someone over 60, embracing discomfort through isometric holds or any controlled challenge is like reclaiming vitality from within. Each time you face that trembling burn, you're not deteriorating. You're rebuilding your strength at the cellular level. The body learns that it can handle stress, and the brain learns that it doesn't need to run from it. This union of body and mind creates lasting resilience. The more you practice it, the more you begin to crave that edge, not because you enjoy pain, but because you recognize it as proof of growth. Discomfort is not the end of ease, it's the beginning of evolution. It's where the real change lives. Every moment you stay in that space between comfort and quitting, you are rewriting your limits. You're not just getting stronger, you're becoming more alive. Earned dopamine lasts longer. It's a kind of satisfaction that doesn't fade as quickly, the kind that fills rather than empties you. In today's world, we are surrounded by instant rewards, likes on a screen, quick snacks, short bursts of entertainment that promise pleasure without effort. Each of these moments gives a small hit of dopamine, the brain's chemical messenger for motivation and reward, but the brain adapts quickly. The more we chase those easy highs, the less pleasure we feel from them. What once satisfied us starts to feel dull, and we look for more, faster, louder stimulation. It's an endless loop that leaves us restless and drained. When dopamine is earned through discipline, through physical effort and patience, the experience changes. The brain doesn't just release dopamine in response to the reward, it begins to release it during the effort itself. That means the process becomes pleasurable, not just the result. This is why people who train consistently, even with simple isometric holds, report feeling clearer, more focused, and more alive afterward. The body learns that the real reward lies in persistence, the pleasure that follows. Earned effort isn't shallow or fleeting. It's grounded in accomplishment, in control, in balance. For someone over 60, this distinction is vital. As we age, the brain's dopamine system becomes less sensitive, meaning it takes more to feel the same level of excitement or joy. Quick fixes only make this worse. But deliberate physical effort, like holding a plank, a wall sit, or any static position, helps restore that sensitivity. When you push through the urge to stop and hold steady, your brain experiences a surge of natural dopamine that lasts beyond the exercise itself. It's the same neurochemical satisfaction that comes from finishing a meaningful task or overcoming a challenge. It strengthens motivation instead of draining it. There's a deep sense of peace that follows effort. It's not the same as excitement, it's quieter, steadier, it feels earned, like the calm after a storm. That's what dopamine discipline teaches, the art of finding joy in control rather than in chaos. When you understand that effort is not punishment but preparation, your entire relationship with pleasure changes. You no longer need constant stimulation to feel alive. You begin to generate that feeling from within. Earned dopamine also reshapes confidence. Every time you commit to effort and finish what you start, your brain records that success. It builds a feedback loop that says, I can do hard things. Over time, that becomes part of your identity. You stop seeking validation from outside and start finding it within your actions. This is one of the most powerful forms of emotional renewal, especially in later life, when purpose and vitality can sometimes feel lost. When you train your body to seek reward through discipline, you create a stable foundation for motivation. You're no longer a slave to instant pleasure. You become the master of your own reward system. That's why earned dopamine lasts longer. It's not given to you, it's built by you. And what's built through effort never fades easily. It grows stronger with every challenge you face. ChatGPT said, Isometrics train the mind too. When most people think of exercise, they picture movement, running, lifting, jumping. They think of physical change, muscle tone, and endurance. But isometric exercise, the kind where you hold a position and resist movement, does something deeper. It turns stillness into a form of mental training. Every second you hold tension without moving, you're not just working your muscles, you're reshaping the way your mind reacts to challenge. When you press your palms together, hold a plank, or keep your body frozen in a wall sit, your brain begins a quiet conversation with your body. It asks, can we stay? Your muscles start to tremble and your mind starts to resist. Thoughts appear like whispers. This hurts, this is enough, let go. And in that moment, your true training begins. The act of staying, of holding when everything in you wants to stop, teaches focus. It builds patience. It builds inner control. Each second becomes a lesson in how to direct your attention where it matters most. The mental discipline that isometrics develop extends far beyond the exercise itself. When you hold still under physical pressure, your brain learns to remain calm under emotional pressure too. That ability to stay grounded in discomfort transfers into everyday life, handling frustration, managing stress, and staying composed when situations feel overwhelming. The body becomes a training ground for the mind, a place where resilience is built through repetition and stillness. This connection is why so many people find a surprising sense of peace after practicing isometric holds. The body has been through struggle, and the mind has learned to stay steady within it. The simplicity of isometrics makes them especially powerful. They require no equipment, no speed, no constant change, just control. Control of breath, of tension, of thought. You can't escape into distraction while holding a pose. You have to be fully present. In a world filled with noise, that kind of presence is rare. It becomes a form of meditation in motion, where the body's effort anchors the wandering mind. As your focus deepens, time seems to slow, and you start to realize that stillness isn't empty, it's full of life. For people over 60, this kind of training is invaluable. It teaches awareness of the body, how it moves, where it struggles, how it adapts. It builds confidence in movement again, especially after years of sitting or inactivity. More importantly, it reminds the mind that control is still possible. The act of choosing to hold, to breathe through the shaking, to stay calm, reawakens a sense of agency. It says, I am still capable, I am still strong. Isometric training becomes a mirror for how to face challenges off the mat or beyond the wall. The ability to hold your body in effort mirrors the ability to hold your composure in life. The same muscles that keep you steady physically begin to support your mental strength. At 60 and beyond, Many people believe they're losing energy because of age, but it's often because they've stopped giving their body a reason to create it. Muscles that are not used begin to atrophy, neural pathways weaken, and motivation declines. The solution is not to avoid effort, but to reintroduce it safely and consistently. Even a few minutes of sustained isometric work, holding a plank, maintaining balance, resisting movement, can spark that energy back to life. These controlled challenges remind the body that strength is still possible and that power still exists within reach. Effort also sharpens the mind. When you commit to something physically demanding, your attention narrows. You stop thinking about the noise of the day, the worries, the distractions. All that exists is the moment, the breath, the muscle, the hold. That kind of focused presence is healing in itself. It clears mental fog, resets perspective, and brings a quiet satisfaction that no external comfort can match. You begin to crave that feeling, not because it's easy, but because it's real. Over time, consistent effort rebuilds confidence and self-respect. Every time you choose challenge over passivity, you tell yourself, I'm still capable. And that belief changes everything, from posture to mindset to purpose. The vitality that returns is not just energy in the body, it's energy in the soul. It's the sense that life is still moving through you, that growth is still possible, that your story is far from finished. Effort, especially after 60, is not about chasing youth. It's about reclaiming aliveness. The small moments of strain, the trembling muscles, the deep breaths, they are reminders that you're still participating in life, not watching it pass by. When you embrace effort as a daily ritual, vitality stops being something you miss and becomes something you generate. Every hold, every push, every moment of persistence reignites that spark inside you, the spark that says simply and powerfully, I am alive. Stillness forces you to be present, to connect with what you feel, and to hold your ground when your mind starts whispering, let go. That moment, when your legs tremble or your shoulders burn, is where growth happens. It's the body's way of waking up dormant strength. It's the mind's way of reminding you that you can still hold on. Each time you resist the urge to quit, you build not only muscle fibers, but mental resilience. You rewire your brain's relationship with effort. Instead of interpreting struggle as a threat, your brain starts to associate it with progress and reward. That's how stillness becomes strength, not just physically, but psychologically. The beauty of static training lies in its simplicity. You don't need heavy weights, fancy gyms, or endless repetition. You just need your own body and the willingness to stay with discomfort for a little while. The resistance comes from within you, and so does the reward. In that space of stillness, something profound happens. You begin to listen. You hear your breath. You feel your heartbeat. You notice the quiet power that exists beneath the surface. This kind of awareness builds confidence, the kind that doesn't depend on how fast you move, but on how deeply you endure. As we age, we often chase movement because we fear stillness. Stillness feels like stopping, and stopping feels like decline. But the truth is, stillness is strength in its purest form. It teaches patience, control, and awareness, the foundations of every kind of power. When you can stay calm in effort, you are strong in every sense. You stop reacting impulsively and start responding with clarity. That's why isometrics are not just about the body. They are a quiet, powerful exercise for the mind. Through every held breath and trembling second, they remind you that strength and stillness can exist together, and that true resilience begins within. Balance restores confidence. It's a simple truth that reaches far beyond physical movement. Balance is not just about standing on one leg or keeping yourself steady. It's about finding harmony between effort and ease, strength and surrender, body and mind. As we grow older, balance becomes one of the first things we lose, not just physically, but emotionally. The small hesitations when stepping off a curb, the uncertainty when moving quickly, or even the quiet fear of falling. These moments slowly erode confidence. But the beautiful thing about balance is that it can always be rebuilt. And in the process, it rebuilds much more than coordination. It restores trust in yourself. When you practice balance through still, controlled movements, like standing on one leg, holding a stable pose, or maintaining an isometric stance, you are doing more than stabilizing muscles. You are retraining the brain. Every tiny adjustment your body makes to stay upright is a signal between your inner ear, your nervous system, and your muscles. It's a living dialogue of precision, patience, and awareness. The more you practice it, the stronger those connections become. Balance training literally rewires the brain to feel safe in motion again. That safety becomes confidence, the deep internal kind that changes how you move through the world. There's also an emotional layer to balance. In life, imbalance creates anxiety. Too much comfort dulls our drive. Too much pressure exhausts us. Balance restores the middle ground where energy and calm coexist. The act of holding yourself steady is symbolic. It mirrors the way you learn to steady your emotions, your reactions, and your thoughts. Each physical hold teaches a mental truth. Control doesn't come from force, it comes from awareness. When you balance your body, you teach your mind to find stillness amid movement, calm amid uncertainty. After 60, many people assume that losing balance is inevitable. They start to limit their movements, play it safe, and avoid challenges. But avoidance only accelerates decline. Balance, like confidence, grows through use. Every time you stand firm, even for a few seconds, you remind your nervous system that strength and stability are still within reach. The micro movements you make to stay upright may be invisible, but they awaken deep layers of muscle memory and neural coordination. This creates not just physical steadiness, but also emotional resilience, the feeling that you can trust your body again. Confidence doesn't return overnight. It grows in quiet moments, when you hold your ground, when you stop wobbling, when you realize you didn't fall. That tiny victory sends a powerful message. You are still capable, you are still strong, and the more you practice, the louder that message becomes. Balance training transforms fear into assurance, hesitation into movement, doubt into grace. It teaches you to stand not just with your feet, but with your spirit. In a world that's always shifting, balance becomes a form of peace. It restores confidence not by removing challenge, but by teaching you how to meet it calmly. Every time you find balance, you reclaim a part of yourself that was lost to fear or hesitation. And that quiet, steady confidence, the one earned through control and awareness, is what keeps you standing tall no matter your age. ChatGPT said, "Effort reawakens vitality." It's one of those truths that feels almost forgotten in a world obsessed with convenience. As we age, we're often told to slow down, to take it easy, to avoid strain. And while rest has its place, too much ease drains us of the very energy we're trying to preserve. The body was built for effort, for challenge, for movement against resistance. When that effort disappears, something inside us goes quiet, not just the muscles, but the spirit itself. Vitality fades not because of age, but because the body and mind no longer receive the signal that says, "I am alive." Effort is that signal. It's the language of life that tells every cell, every organ, every neuron to wake up. When you push, hold, strain, and breathe through a challenge, your blood flows faster, your heart grows stronger, and your brain lights up. It's not just physical, it's chemical, emotional, and psychological. The body rewards effort with endorphins and dopamine, the brain's way of saying, "This feels right." That's why, after a good workout or even a short session of isometric holds, you feel more alert, more confident, and more alive. The effort revives something ancient within you, the primal connection between challenge and vitality.